everyone! It is so great to see everyone back here tuning in for our live stream. Hey, I am Sam Anderson, coming in from New York City, our Adobe office in New York City. Brand new setup we have going on over here. Very exciting. We are at day number 2 for our daily creative challenge, or at least challenge number 2. Technically day 3 if you count my big intro day on Monday. So it is so great to see everyone back in the chat. Hello, Eric, Jennifer, Tim is, as always, killing it. Anna, Kroll, wow. Jose, is so great to see all of you back here and joining me live so that we can do some designing, because that's what we're here for, right? Hey, Paco, how's it going? Okay, so we have an exciting day packed because we have another challenge to learn Adobe XD, which is Adobe's design and user experience design, UX, UI app, where you can prototype, design, share, everything in between. Gus is in the house. Awesome. Great to see everyone here. Oh, Julian Crespo. Oh my God. Great friend of mine from school. We went to California College of the Arts together. So say hi to Julian. Julian's awesome. Impeccable human, just on every front. Hey Jason, where's everyone coming from? Olga, a lot of familiar names I'm seeing. Okay, this is great. Oh my gosh. Jack, hello, how's it going? Frank, wow, it is so great to see everyone. So no one's saying where they're from, so I'd love to see, like, where are you from? Because it's great to say hi, and then where also are you from? So we're here for the Daily Creative Challenge, which if you're not familiar, head over to behance.net/challenge/xd, and that's going to be your homepage where you can click this blue button. You'll get notifications each day that we have a new challenge, which is going to be each day this week, each day next week, for this particular one that I am running. And so each block down here is going to have a different challenge on here, and today we are at number 2, October 2nd. We're going to be looking at a photo editor. So you can get our UI kit here, which is what I will be starting off with, and so you could be starting on the same page as me. And then also join the chat, which is Discord over here. Boom. This is Discord. It's our big group chat where everyone is just sending good vibes and their designs too. And we're giving feedback. So lots of great, like, I cannot emphasize this enough, spectacular submissions from the first from the first challenge, and I had so much fun going through. I went through all of them. I wasn't able to Boston, Houston, Germany. I'm looking at where everyone's coming in from in the chat. Michigan, Ukraine. Oh my gosh. Hello everyone. This is great. Indonesia. Oh sweet. We have people tuning in from all over. This is spectacular. Thanks. Olga's from Austria. Wow, that's great. Thank you, Jennifer, everyone, Gladstone for tuning in, Ryan from Michigan tuning in. It is great to have everyone here. Like I was saying, everyone submitted designs on Discord, and we got to see some spectacular things that people made, like this one from Wendy. Great to see. And this one from Jadag. Look at this. This is great. So people were submitting their designs for making a clothing donation app to resell clothing. Of course, our theme for the, and this is in current Dash Challenge, that's where we're submitting feedback and getting feedback. And of course, our theme for this week and next week is going to be sustainability and social good. And so all of our challenges are going to revolve around that topic. So we're learning XD, but we're learning in a positive and a very social good way. And so here we are, day 2 of our challenge. We're going to talk about composting. Who here composts? Does anyone here compost? Let me know in the chat, because some people don't, and that's okay. And it's because it might not be prioritized by their city's infrastructure. But then some people do, and it's a great way to reduce what you're actually putting into a landfill and to create like soil that you can plant with from your food scraps. And so let's dive into this challenge. So composting is a great way to reduce waste. Design a photo sharing app with filters that promote composting. Simulate your photo editing experience with Auto-Animate Feel free to stretch the prompt, make wild ideas worked. This is fun. This is going to be like tons of fun. So I put in some inspiration. And so this is great because these first two are like illustration oriented, and this last one is literally just of a compost bin from San Francisco, because in San Francisco it's like you'll see the compost bin and the recycling bin, and sometimes you won't even see the trash bin, like, because that's how heavily they prioritize composting. So I thought I'd throw that in there, and then some further reading for you. You can go back to the stream with this link, and this is about social proof. The reason why we're designing an app for sharing images is because we know that when people share what they're doing, it's likely to have like a compound factor where other people will be influenced by that, right? So if we can help people do good to the earth by sharing what we're doing with others, then that's a good start. And so we're taking ourselves in a direction that's almost like Snapchat-esque, or like Instagram, like story sharing-esque, right? Where we are going to be designing an experience for taking a photo and then like swiping to add some filters on top of that. And so we're all pretty familiar of what this looks like, at least for the photo taking part, right? So I made this. This is really easy. I'll show you how you can do it. But this is really easy. I just did this first step, which is just, okay, this is like a camera feed, and you can take a photo. And that was really fast, but all it did is like flash black and then go back to the photo. And that's key, because that's going to be the first part of our experience, is to take the photo. And really all that is here we have the photo. This is a compost bin. This is a New York compost bin. They're really tiny and cute. They're a lot smaller than the San Francisco ones here. So I just moved here from San Francisco, so I was quite thrown back by how small these were. Anyway, so those are the bins, and we're going to take a photo and we're going to apply some filters onto that. And so we have this element, which is the camera shutter. That's hooked up as here we are in the prototype tab. So we're to bring our designs to life in the prototype tab. I've dragged a wire out from the camera shutter button as a tap interaction with the action of a transition, and that just goes to a black screen. And then on the black screen, really quickly, this is all quite quick, we have a time transition with a 5 millisecond, that's really fast. You could also just make that 0. 5 millisecond delay to dissolve to the next artboard. And so what that gives us is just a convincing, like, and it snaps the photo. And then the shutter button goes away, because then we're going to go into the editing experience. So that's how we can do that. That's using time transitions, which are really helpful. Basically just automatically go from one to the next. And that's really handy for a lot of circumstances, especially when we're using Auto-Animate, which we are going to dive into. So that's our first step, is to take the photo. You can design that. It's really easy. And then we're going to apply some effects on it. And so this is like the camera feed. You can think of that as the camera feed, and this is the actual photo that we're ending up with, right? It's great to see all this activity in the chat. So great to see all of you. This is wonderful. And so as we know, people love sharing photos in part for the filters that they can apply onto them. And so what's really neat is that all these apps tend to do it with like a swiping gesture. I've never really been a Snapchat fan, so if I'm getting something crucially wrong here, it's because I don't use it. So let me know in the chat if something should be different. And you can also design yours in any way possible. But I did design some filters, 3. One that says happy composting, one that has some plants and clouds, and then one that has ignore the paper airplane, that's for later. One that just says compost life, like hashtag compost life, with some like green, like mossy elements growing. I don't even know what that is. I just had some fun with it. You can have fun with designing whatever like filters that you want to go on top of your photo. Do whatever you want. You could just do something simple that's just text or arrows, or you could pop in some illustrations that you find online. Have fun with it. But if you do like getting artsy, this is definitely the place to do it, is with these filters. Have fun with it. And so basically what we're going to do is, let's pop this on there, is we're going to have all these situations where we can swipe and see each of these filters, right? Claudia says, I used Snapchat once and immediately felt old. Did not get it at all. That's hilarious. That's okay. I'm sure there's lots of us. Who here does or doesn't use Snapchat? I don't. Curious to hear your opinion in the chat. So we'll see what the consensus is with the people who watch Adobe Live. And so our first step here is we're going to duplicate this artboard, which is going to be Command D. And when I have that artboard selected, I just duplicated it right next door. And then we're going to we're going to start with the image without a filter, and then we're going to swipe to add the filter. So what's key to this is that we're going to do some more interaction in our prototyping wire, in our prototyping tab, right? So I'll actually copy this filter that I made earlier, and I'm going to paste it on top of this one, and I'll arrange it just so it's like putting that compost bin right into the middle. Jose is saying he uses Snapchat. I used to work for a company who would create custom Snapchat filters for clients. So I think Jose is going to be good at this challenge, considering he's done it before. So ask him questions. And so here we have the filter, and we'll start with no filter, and we want it to swipe inward. And so the way Auto-Animate works in XD is that it looks for common elements across two artboards, and it animates the characteristics of them between the two. And so what that means is that because we want it to slide in, we're going to paste. I just did copy paste onto the first artboard as well, and I'm going to move it over. And just so you don't get confused, I'm going to move this one over so it's not overlapping. So I'm going to move it all the way over. I'm just going to leave it hanging on just by a little bit there, just by like a tiny bit, right? And so it's still on the artboard. See how it disappeared? It's still on the artboard. It's not on the canvas like it is here. Let's undo that. So it's on the artboard. That's key for Auto-Animate. And also key for Auto-Animate, which is the feature we're using to animate between these two, is for the layers names to be the same. And so I noticed this with some people, and I was trying to give feedback in Discord, is that the layer name in the layers panel needs to be the same on both for the animation to work correctly. So it's called filter 1, and then we're going to set up our drag interaction. And so for this first one, it's actually easy. We can actually drag from anywhere on this screen to the next one, because there's not any one that we have to swipe to the left of. We're at the leftmost bubble. You see, I have these little circles. Maybe they're a little faint. Let's turn up the opacity. There we go. So the little bubbles indicate which one we're on. And I'll turn up the opacity on these ones too. Yeah, good. And so we'll actually move this, and you'll see these move in the Auto-Animate. We'll move this to be bigger, the second dot, because we're on the second page now. We'll move this one down, and we'll reduce opacity of that one. You can use the number keys on your keyboard to change the opacity, so it just jumps right in intervals of 10. So that's really nice. RRL Aja is saying it's really nice to listen to you and explain everything. So I really appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And so there we have our second artboard. And so now, look at this. When we swipe over, oh, almost, I need to actually set it up as a drag interaction. So key important step here is that when you drag this wire, the trigger shouldn't be tap. Tap is default, but we actually want drag. So drag is the one that we want. And then there we go. And so then when we preview this and we drag, okay, let's try this one more time. You know, it's finicky. You can make it work. Okay, so actually, I'm not dragging from the artboard. I want to drag from the artboard. So I selected the artboard here, and make sure that artboard text is blue, and then I'm dragging across it from the wire, as before I actually had the photo selected. and it was trying to drag the photo, which isn't actually what we want. So let's try this now. There we go, look. Oh my God, and so we can drag it in and out that filter. Oh, magical. And so let's quickly do the next one. For the next one, because we actually want it to slide to the next one and go back. So let's duplicate this again. I'm holding down Alt and Shift to duplicate this artboard. We're going to move this one over. So it's going over here, right? Because that one's going to go to the left. And then we want a new one. We might not get to the third one. Maybe we just do. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. And we're going to put this one in center stage. Look at that. And let's actually, I'm using Command and the brackets key to send back and forward. I noticed it was in front of these little dots, and I actually want it behind the dots because the dots are at the front, right? So I'm sending that back, and so now it's just above our photo here. And this one's still like hanging on. Maybe I can move it off just a little bit more. There we go. And so we have the clouds and we have the sprouts coming from the bottom. That's kind of fun. And remember, because it's Auto-Animate, it needs to be on the other artboard as well for it to slide in. So I'm going to move it all the way to the left, just hanging off a little bit. If you don't like the fact that it's still there, you can reduce the opacity to 0%. And when you transition, it will fade in from 0% to 100%, which is a different look. It's not what I'm going for. And I don't mind the little, if you were doing this like super high fidelity, you'd make sure that it was actually off the artboard, which you can do with some other tricks to make it bigger. We're not gonna get into that though. Okay, and now we're going to set up our next wire. We're gonna select this artboard. Actually, so this one's different because we wanna be able to go backward and forward. And so to do this, it's different than the first one because the first one was just going forward. We're actually going to make two huge rectangles. And so this one's going to be for forward, and this one's going to be for backward. And so what's key about this is that they're going to actually be invisible. So reduce the opacity all the way with the opacity slider and no border. Cool. And so when we swipe on the right one, it will swipe to the right, and when we swipe on the left one, it'll swipe to the left. Does that make sense? So I'm going to use this invisible box as like a prototyping like hack, right? To drag that one to the next artboard, link that up. It's remembering that my interaction is drag here, so that's good. Auto-Animate to that one, and then for our previous one, the one on the left, we're actually going to go the other direction, go back, and that will do drag as well. And so now you notice. This is great. So let's start from the beginning, actually. You know, recap everything. How's it going on the chat? Awesome. Great to see all this discussion about like Snapchat versus TikTok and all this social media stuff that I really don't know a lot about. Okay, so here we have the photo of the compost bin. We take the photo, it snaps, and then we can swipe over our design, our filter. Wow, how exciting. And then we can either go forward or back. So if we swipe on the right side, boom, there we have the flowers. And then we didn't wire up this artboard yet, but if we go, I'll just use the arrow keys to send me back to the last artboard. If we go from the left, if we grab from the left side, oh, there we go. If you grab from the left side, it will go to the other one. It was a little clunky. I'm not sure why that was a little weird. Oh, okay. I think what we're going to do, just a little complication with Auto-Animate and drag in particular, is that it looks for the common element that you're dragging. So because this element is not on the first artboard, we're going to add that left rectangle. I just copied and pasted it. It's kind of hard to see. It's like this blue invisible rectangle. I dragged it over and put it to the right side, so that way when we're on this side, that should, yeah, there we go. There we go. That behaves a little better. Because Auto-Animate, it's actually looking for those common elements and like, oh, you're dragging this element, it's dragging from here to where? And it's looking at the other artboard, the destination artboard, whatever that is, to see what that end state is. And so we're just giving it an end state so it's not confused. So if you have complexities, that's where they're coming from. And then on the next one, we are going to do the same. We'll have our two rectangles. I'm going to go to Design tab to copy them, and paste them, because otherwise, if you copy and paste in Prototype tab, it will maintain the wires that are attached to those objects. And so if you want, sometimes you want that. Sometimes you want to preserve the interactions attached to an object, but not always. So because we want to set up new ones here. And so we're going to do the same. So with this one, we swipe to the left, and with this one, actually we're not doing I guess you could add another one if you wanted. I'm not sure if we're going to have enough time. And so here we go. We can swipe to the right and we can swipe to the left, kind of. It's doing that thing again. So it's actually, okay. I'm going to move these around so that it might work more properly. Okay. Okay. And actually we should be changing these dots as well. If we get into the group. Oh, the rectangle's blocking the group. Okay. There we go. You know how to do that. I'm not going to fuss with the circles. I have limited time here. I only have half an hour. Okay. I think you get the idea. Let's see. Will this work now? So we swipe to the right, and now we swipe to the left. Okay. Let's figure this out. We have 3 minutes. Oof. I want to show you how to upload to Behance too. Okay. So the reason it's that thing that I was describing before, the reason why it's not, okay, we want this to be drag. Okay, actually, we got to do a new rectangle. Let's do a new rectangle. There we go. And we'll make this one. So I set myself up for failure by copying the rectangle. We didn't need to do that. And we're going to copy that rectangle to this one as well, and we're going to move it over because it's like this invisible rectangle that we're moving. And we're going to set up a drag, auto-animate. Perfect. Okay. I have my fingers crossed on this one. I think this is going to work. Boom. Okay, sweet. So now we can swipe between them. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's so great. I don't know why I'm so happy about that, but I feel like when you do this on your computer, you'll probably be just as happy, because it's like a very satisfying feeling to get those interactions just working, and you can actually plug it into your phone and preview it. It's really, really fun. Julian's still around. Thanks for sticking around for the whole thing, Julian. Like, he's an XD master. He really doesn't need to know any of this, but great friends provide moral support, right? So everyone should be like Julian. Great to see you here, Julian. Okay. So when you're done with your design, with these last few minutes, we only have a few minutes left. I'm going to show you how you can click the share button and you can share a link to your prototype. So share for review, boom, create a link. This is great. And with this link, you can actually either embed it or you can link it in Discord. So you can copy this link and share it in Discord over here and get feedback. And when everyone gives you feedback and you make your design better with version 2, then what you can do is you update your design, you update that link, and then you can do copy embed code, and you can actually bring it into Behance. Like, you can embed your design into your Behance post, which is like really cool. So let's go to Safari over here. When you're creating a project on Behance, so this is when you have your design like totally flushed out, you can hit create project up here, and you can upload your like description and your storytelling of your design and your concept. You can throw in there like what you're solving for and why you're solving for that. Give some context. That's really important because this is going to be acting like your portfolio, and this is actually how you're going to get a job. They'll look at your Behance page. That's definitely a component to getting a job. So you can upload this image, and this is where you can also embed media. That's where you post. That's where you paste that. The embed code. Sorry, I was blanking on that. And then when you actually give a title, you give your title. Crop and continue. Under discoverability, boom, add a keyword, XD daily challenge, and that will be so that everyone else can find it in search, and it will show up with everyone else's, and you can see all this great work that everyone's doing. Isn't that awesome? So be sure to do that. I had a blast designing this composting like Snapchat filter experience with everyone today, and I can't wait to see these second round of challenge designs up in Discord, and I'll be sure to give feedback wherever possible. And be sure to give everyone else feedback. If you like something, tell them you like it. If you have feedback on, oh, maybe this could be different, give them that feedback. And until then, I'll see you in Discord. Reach out if you have any questions, and I'll be back here tomorrow at the same exact time. I'm Sam Anderson, coming from New York, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.